What's up guys? Today on the channel we're going to check out iFlight's brand new Defender 16. Welcome back to another backyard review. Today we're going to check out a little tiny ultra lightweight under 250 gram Cinewhoop. It has prop guards all the way around. It comes with a 2S 900 milliamp snap-on sort of proprietary style battery. It also has a charge unit that comes with it, and this one's going to get us about a 6-minute flight time in comparison to the 8 to 10 minute flight time at a Defender 25. I have a previous review of that one on the channel, and they also make a 2-inch version of this one they call the Defender 20. So without further ado, let's go ahead and fire this one up and see how it handles a little bit of cinema style filming in the backyard and a little bit of mild freestyle. I'm not expecting a lot, but what I do expect is a nice FPV view in my DJI goggles too. I have a decased O3 on board, and that's how it comes straight out of the box. All right, so it's all set up in beta flight now. Let's go ahead and let's give it a spin. Oh yeah, and if you're looking for the bind button on the DJI decased Air Unit, kind of hard to see. I'm going to show you that coming up after the flight test, but without further ado, let's go ahead, set it down, and fly it around the backyard, see how it does. It's super lit up with all these LEDs on there too. I'll show you also the LED push button controls for the battery and on the quad. That's pretty neat. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and push record on my goggles, and let's do it, you guys. This is the Maiden flight. It is definitely pretty noisy. You probably heard it take off just now. Chickens don't want anything to do with it, but let's just see if we can slow it way down here. Come up, check out one of the girls. Hello. They're not into it. So let's just go ahead and get into some cruising here. And right now I'm still in angle mode, so this is pretty easy in angle mode, but it seems to be pretty fast. So this is about, I'd say, 3/4 stick. Let's go full stick. Full stick forward. Whoa. Really wants to go fast. Full stick forward. Now let's go ahead and switch it over to acro mode, and let's see what we can get in acro mode. Now I'm sure this is not going to freestyle as good as the Flylens 85, because it's not an ultralight. This is more of a cinema rig. I don't want to do any big punch outs right now because I really don't want to kill the battery on this first go around the yard. I just want to kind of like cruise around and see what I can do in acro. See if we can make it through this back part of the fence back here. It's got some good speed to it, but it also feels like it has good control. Slows down pretty good. We're definitely going to do some little bump there on top of the slack line. We're definitely going to do some acro next though. If you want to see this thing fly in acro, stick around. Alright, now I'm getting a feel for it. Every quad flies different. You have to know that. So that's the thing about all these quads. This is a 1.6 inch. So I wasn't expecting like kind of a lot of high-end throttle down low over those loops and things, but we'll give it a shot. Seems to be having a decently long flight time. Kind of buzz the tower there. This thing's fun though. Little backyard ripper. Let's give it some full throttle up. Give it a loop. Try not to crash into the trees. And that battery, I think the battery's about done. So I'm going to come in and land now. We'll switch it out. We'll do a freestyle run with it. This little Defender 16. I'm going to go back into angle mode and come in and land on the bench. There we go. And it is definitely loud. So the neighbors do hear this. So, okay, one thing to look out for is that when you're flying this decased Defender 16, one of the things about having it cased is that it has a little more cooling on it, as you know, for the heat sink, but this one has just vents all the way around, and unless this quad is moving, it's going to heat up super quick on you. So you want to just plug in your battery and take off as quick as you can. But since it sat out in the grass for a minute or two, the VTX overheated. Now I got to wait for it to cool off before we can fly again. All right, let's go ahead and plug in the next battery. I'm going to go ahead, put the front down first, pull back the little latch and push that in. Once you do that, you can press this little button on the front, press once and press again, kind of like DJI. And we're going to set that flat. It's blinking, so there we go. Now let's try out a little freestyle with this Defender 16. I'm not expecting like the world here, so we'll see what happens. We got a fully charged battery. I'm going to go ahead and take off in acro. And again, it's definitely not quiet. Oh, squirrel. Oh, what's up, squirrel? What's up, squirrel? So it feels fast, and right now I don't have a lot of camera angle. We could definitely try one of those power loops. Let's just go ahead and get some speed. Come out here under the tree. Set up for a power loop. Get a lot of speed here. See if it has any tumble. Oh yeah. Looks like we're gonna have to try to use the turtle mode. Turtle mode doesn't want to work in the grass. I'm stuck on the garden hose. All right, come on, baby. There we go. Now we're connected. It says no transmission signal. And whoa, we're good. That was pretty quick. So now I have a more of a camera angle on here. And look how much faster it is with about 20 degrees of camera angle. This is a fast little 1.6 inch Cinewhoop. I'm gonna go up and let's do some rolls high up. Uh-oh, another crash. Let's see if we can turtle mode out there again. Come on, baby. This thing does not want a turtle mode. It's not gonna turtle mode. So far, turtle mode is a fail. Okay, so this is Justin from the future. You can see I'm editing right here, and I'm going through my footage, and for some reason, what happened was when this overheated, it said could not record video, but I took off and I did another flight test, unfortunately, and it didn't record. So now we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into the bench review part of this review. Okay guys, let's go ahead and get into the bench part of this review. You've seen it fly. Now let's check it out on the bench. Let me tell you all about it. This is a Defender 16 2S HD version that I have here. And I don't see other analog options available at this point, but I'm sure there'll be some kind of analog version. And again, this $399. It comes PNP without the receiver for $399. That's if you have the DJI FPV Remote Controller 2. If you want to get TBS Crossfire Nano on there, that's going to boost it up to about $428.99. The ELRS 915 megahertz version is also available, and that one's $428 as well. And the ELRS 2.4 version is $415. Extra Defender 16 batteries are $16.99 on iFlight's website, and I'll put some links down below to these. They come in this little box, open up to reveal the battery inside. And you have some information on this side of the battery that shows you that this is a 2S 900 milliamp battery, and this should get us about 6 minutes maximum flight time. And a Defender 16 weighs in at around 128 grams. The 20 version weighs in at 178 grams, and the 25 weighs in at 249 grams. So all three versions of this little tiny Cinewhoop are under 250 grams, which is super awesome. The Defender 20 has around an 8-minute flight time, and the 25 version with a 2.5 inch props comes in at around a 10-minute maximum flight time. So this is the smallest and the least amount of flight time, but this one does come with a case in the box, which I think is super nice. It has pretty kind of thick zipper all the way around, and it has some pretty thick foam on the inside as well. This little guy lifts out right here, and it seems that it's compatible with the 16 or the 20. If you take this foam out, you can fit the 20 in there, but it won't fit the 25. Over on the left side, I have my battery converter, and this just comes out like this, and the USB-C cable goes in there, and I can show you on the screen how this plugs in. Once you plug in this USB-C port right here, you'll see a green light come up on the iFlight icon right here, and it'll begin flashing when your battery's charging, and it'll go full green when your battery's done charging. You can also get this AC adapter, which looks pretty large and pretty hefty. It has a USB port down at the bottom and 2 extra PD 3.0 connectors, and they plug in just like this. This cable you can also purchase on the website, I believe, and it also has a kind of a nice little readout on it to let you know how many watts are being outputted from the PD 3.0 connector. Now also in the box you get some extras. You do get a prop remover tool, a tiny M1 screwdriver, some extra screws here. Those are M1 screws. You get a repair card as well as some HQ props, and again these are the Defender 16 1809-3 props. You also get a setup guide for ELRS and TBS crossfire receivers. You get an iFlight disclaimer and safety guidelines pamphlet, as well as some more safety guideline responsibilities and some stickers. Now, I know a lot of you guys are here to see the quad, so let's get on with it. Now, it does have this proprietary battery, which I'm sure you're going to have some 3D printed version of this come out that you can put a regular style battery on, hopefully, but maybe not. It does have built-in LEDs on this battery. It's pretty cool. You can change it from this front button right here. It has a tiltable camera for O3 action in the front. I'm getting all the way up to about 35 to 40 degrees here and all the way down to level. And on the bottom, we have a couple ports back here. We have some tiny port for the boot button for your USB-C to connect to Betaflight right here. And up here we have an interesting button. This is an additional button that they've wired into the flight controller. This one's an F4 flight controller, and the only one in this series that has an F7 is the 25 Defender. So if you want an F7, you have to get the Defender 25. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on for you. Press and hold here. We're going to turn on the transmitter as well so it doesn't sit here and beep. And you'll see those lights come on. So this is super cool. You can not only can you change the LEDs on this by push buttons, you can change the battery LEDs and the frame LEDs. And these are the LEDs on the bottom of the frame. Right now it looks like it's set to rainbow, but if we look real closely back here, you'll see a little port through the frame, and there is a button that you can press. It's the first one up this way. And if we press that button, and I'm using a bamboo skewer, by the way, if you notice. Make sure you don't put anything metal inside this port because you might fry something. But we have green, blue, white, yellow, pink, purple, kind of a fuchsia, and blue again, another shade of blue, green, and back to rainbow there. And I believe you can also turn them off if you don't want to have them on. So that's kind of cool for guys who don't want to attract attention from the Karens out there in the field. So I was getting these to change earlier by pressing this front button, but it doesn't seem to be working now. So let's go ahead and put the 16 on the scale, and let's see what that one weighs. Right in around 80 grams on the dot. Now if I put the battery on there, I'm expecting that it gets closer to what we talked about before as far as weight, around 120 grams. In that 120 gram range, it looks like 127.6 grams there. That will be your total takeoff weight for the 16. And the 900 milliamp battery weighs in at 47.5 grams. Now this quad is pretty neat. It does look like a shrunk down version of the 25 obviously, but it's really strikingly similar to like the Avata. For some reason I keep thinking it's a little mini Avata. It does fly very similar because you do have tumble on this one, unfortunately, but it has that awkward shape to it, and that might be part of it, but technically it's pretty advanced because it is a decased DJI O3. The only drawback to that is when you have it sitting on the bench and say it's about 80 degrees like it is today, it's going to overheat probably within about a minute or two. So you have to take off kind of quick and get some airflow through here before you have it overheat, and then the video is going to freeze up on you. So if you look on the bottom right here, there is a trapdoor that will show you the SD card slot and where you can get to it for USB-C to get your videos on your computer. On the other side, opposite of that, is where the bind button is going to be, and you're going to want to use a bamboo skewer. Just be super careful here, but it's kind of hard to see. I had to take this apart, figure out where it was, and also looking at another decased unit that I have here helped me on the FlyLens 85. But I was able to use my bamboo skewer, get in there, and press the button on this far side right here. And I'm not sure if you guys can see that at home just looking at that, but you could snip this little bar away and gain easier access to it. But I left mine there just to give it strength if I do crash. And to get into it, it wasn't a big deal to get inside it. I had some, M2 driver, and I think I took these 2 bolts out the front, 2 off the back, 2 off the side, and boom, I was able to pop this off and get to the flight controller and the DJI O3. Now, just like the DJI Avata, one of the things you don't want to do is take off with this trapdoor hanging out like this. So once you get your videos off there and you're done with that, just make sure you put this door back on. I also noticed that it kind of has a snap to it, so it snaps down, and it also has sort of a finger slot right here for your fingernail. So that's kind of cool that you can grab that and pinch it off. It's pretty easy, and it feels like it's kind of a rubber, whereas this is more injection plastic, molded plastic here. So easy to access. We also have LED control button right here and boot button, and we have this locking mechanism for the battery, as well as kind of some grip through here for the battery to grip onto. You can kind of see it there in the light. And we have this proprietary setup here for the battery, which I'm not a huge fan of, and the locking mechanism in the back. Up front, we have a finger tiltable camera, and I suggest if you're going to fly this, make sure you get some kind of UV lens protector on the front, like we have on the Flywoo one. And just underneath the camera is where your TBS Crossfire or external ELRS receiver might be. It took me a minute to figure out, but I remembered on my 25 it was in the same spot just underneath the DJI camera. And again, these are HQ props. I believe they were 1809. They're 1.6 inch props, tri-blade, inverted motors, and it doesn't say on iFlight's website what size motors they are, but I believe they are 1000 series with 3 bolts on top. Brushless, of course, and they look to be in props out configuration as well. And just above where the DJI O3 is, you have the Defender 16 or the 20 F411 AIO flight controller, and I'll show you this on the screen here. It has some ports on there for the motors. These are plug-and-play motors as well, so if you burn out a motor, you can just plug in a new one. And again, there's no branding or anything on these motors, it's just solid black. Very similar and spookily similar to the DJI stuff. So they don't want to tell you what size motors they are on the DJI. But I have to tell you that this has an excellent beeper on here. It has a full-size beeper built right into the backside of the PCB of this AIO flight controller, which I really love. So when you plug this in, and if you have a problem out in the yard or way out in the grass field somewhere, you'll be able to hear this when you hit the beeper. So I mean, overall, it's a really cool looking little quad. When it came in the door and I pulled it out of the box, I love the design. I love that they took the 25 and they shrunk it down to a little 16 size, 1.6 inch prop size quad. I love that it's inverted, and it is really good for cinema. I would say it's not so great, maybe 3 stars out of 5 for freestyle, but this is not really, the architecture here is not right for flying freestyle. It will split S, but just barely, and don't even try a power loop with it. You're probably going to have tumble like the DJI Avata. So if you're looking for something to freestyle, I would probably have to recommend the Flywoo Fly Lens 85 that we flew a while back on the channel, maybe last week now, so time's flying on the channel. But this one is great for cinema, and I have to say like 5 out of 5 stars for cinema and portability. If you want to take it on a job somewhere, if you fly it indoors, remember the FAA doesn't have jurisdiction indoors, so if you're doing interior real estate videos, you don't have to worry about registering this either. You can fly this anywhere outside of FRIA, and no remote ID is required on this one, unless you're using it for, monetary reasons, which, I know you're not, right? So, yeah, it's $400. It's fast around the yard, it's fun and easy to fly, and it has a lot of cool options some extras that they build into it. The color change LEDs are just, they're a lot of fun, and I got to show you those one more time. Just go ahead and start it up again, and there's the LEDs. And for some reason, when I tried to do the demo of the color change battery LEDs, just wouldn't do it for me. I think it's just a quick press, and it should change them. Now the light's blinking when I press that, but for a live demo, of course, it's not going to work for me. And you can put down in the comments down below if you have any idea how that works out, but maybe it's a long press, but that, I believe, turns it off. So I'm just gonna go ahead and turn it back off for you. And that is the LEDs on the Defender 16. It's a lot of fun to fly. You can check it out in my link down below. And if you like the channel, please do subscribe on the channel. I have more new reviews and new things coming out in the FPV drone world. So coming up on our 10-year anniversary, guys, Be sure to check out our link down below as well if you want to fly with us at FPV West coming up this weekend. It's on Sunday, September 17th at 12 p.m. until who knows when. Bring out all your quads and do some show and tell, do some shop talk, hang out with the other pilots, and yeah, enjoy an afternoon of FPV flying. Please do subscribe again on the channel, guys. Defender 16 in the house. Take care, guys, and I will see you on the next one.